Chair.
You bet. Let's go ahead and open the hearing on House Bill 389.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Representative Stafford.
Members of the committee. So this one will be significantly shorter, especially since you've already had, you've received some knowledge about Kelp and Yelp and who they are and how they operate. So in the core, actually this bill is a spin-off, if you like, of the first bill. And in the course of working on that first bill and learning the ins and outs of these plants, I came to realize that they fall under a number of exemptions, so that they don't. There are things that DEQ does not regulate there because they are not big enough or not small enough. And I started asking about, well, what if these places do close at some point? They will close at some point. Can we get in a situation like we have been in Montana, where out-of-state owners declare bankruptcy and leave the taxpayers with the cleanup costs? And I wanted to know how much are those cleanup costs. Well, nobody could tell me how much the cleanup costs are because the information needed to assess that is not filed with DEQ currently. So we do know some things. We do know, for example, that we don't believe there's an ash pond there, but we don't know about other things. We don't know about asbestos and many other things about what would be involved in cleanup costs. So I learned when I started asking these questions, I learned that Senator Ankney had run a similar bill, making sure that taxpayers are not stuck with the bill when an out-of-state corporation or a corporation that has some out-of-state owners does close. And that might be tomorrow, or that might be at the end of these contracts, or if you don't pass the other bill, that sometime after that. And so we largely copied Senator Ankney's bill and applied it to these plants. And so what they have to do under this bill is essentially come to DEQ and have DEQ assess what's involved in the cleanup, and then they have to give adequate financial assurance that they're able to pay for it. And that's really all this bill does. And my understanding is that there are other plants that already happens for. There was one concern that was raised by DEQ, a good concern, that would there be a cost to this? And so what we did is build into the bill an application fee that would cover the fairly small cost of DEQ to do this work. So they can charge a fee to the plants. So that's really the whole bill, is financial responsibility and assuring that our taxpayers aren't left with a big cleanup bill at such time as these plants are no longer able or willing to operate. Madam Vice Chair, with that, I'll stand for witnesses and questions.